We're recording this on a Sunday morning, so we'll see what the AP poll says, but I'll tell you what my eyes say. They say Alabama is the best team in college football after what they did against Georgia last night. We'll make our case for them right now, but first things first, make sure you are subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. 5 weeks through the college football season. It's flying by. We want everyone that is a college football sicko that stays up till 1 to 2 a.m. watching the final games on the West Coast. Make sure you're dialed in right here because this is a college football sickos show by college football sickos for college football sickos. All right, we appreciate y'all for that. So Alabama last night, man, that was a cinematic masterpiece against Georgia. Final score, Bama 41. Georgia 34, and it is very early on in the season. And again, we are recording this before the AP poll comes out. So if the AP poll agrees, good for the AP poll, getting something right. But I think Alabama, 5 weeks in here, is the best team in college football, and last night was a massive part of that. So how do we make our case for Bama to be number one? Because if you're a Texas fan, you're saying, whoa, 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 whoa. You see what we did in Ann Arbor? You see Queen Ewers just take belt to behind against Michigan? Yes, I understand that. I am not discrediting that. But I think based on what we saw last night and the conversation around Alabama's win, there's a case to be made here. So let's start there with the case for the win. If Georgia played Michigan tomorrow, this is no disrespect to Michigan or to Texas, Georgia would throttle Michigan. It wouldn't be close. Whatever the spread is, they would cover. And again, I'm not down on Michigan. It's just kind of the reality of how this thing would shape up. Also, I think when you look at the way that Georgia came back in that game, I'm glad they did as a college football fan because I think it validated a lot of what Georgia is. But that also, to me, makes Alabama's 28-point lead all that much more impressive. All right, so the win, I think we're going to see over the course of time here. Like Michigan just beat Minnesota by 3 points yesterday. Not down on Minnesota, but like Georgia and what they are is a very much so superior outfit. And we can have a discussion around metrics and analytics and rankings and resume. Like, come on, Georgia is a better football team than Michigan right now. And I don't think that's really up for debate. So that's that part of it. But let's talk about like what our eyes actually tell us, because I think that's probably the most reliable thing to lean on here to this point in the college football season. And I will also secede this. Like Texas so far, we haven't really seen the Death Star that they are with Quinn Ewers out of the lineup. Now, I think you also say, well, what Arch Manning's doing and how Steve Sarkisian's built the depth out there is really freaking impressive. Totally true. But I think with the way that Alabama is built, which was what I really want to focus on here, they're going to be, I think, a very difficult out every single outing they have this season. We already knew that. But from what they've done to this point in the season as well, they have, I think, arguably the best player in college football at quarterback in Jalen Milroe. And the Travis Hunter discussion is one that we will probably have as we continue down the line here. He is a one of one, no way around it. But Jalen Milroe, man, I think the conversation is always, he's a good athlete. Really good running back that can throw the football. Y'all, he went 81% last night against Georgia. This dude is a legitimately very good quarterback. And then, oh, by the way, he can give you 100 yards on the ground as well. With him in the football game, that gives them so much flexibility to play any style of ball game. You want to play ground and pound, take the air out of the football, they can do that. It's going to take 40 to win the game, they can do that. I talk about the weapons they have as well. Like Ryan Williams is a one of one. 17 years old, I would take him in man coverage against almost anyone. Is he going to get better? You would hope so. He'll continue to trend upward. But last night, man, to do what he did in the moments he did it, competitively, just on a different level, different juice for the young buck, man. Unreal. Credit Kalen DeBoer and the system he has in place. We said this going into the season now. We weren't 100% sure when Kalen DeBoer got the job how it would fit with Jalen Milroe, because you say, okay, it's kind of a more pass-centric offense. Jalen Milroe really threw the ball right in the range of like 24 times a game last year. Kalen DeBoer typically throws it around 40 times a game, talking about, what he's done historically. You weren't sure. Is it going to fit? And the comp for me was always shake and French fries. When you dip the French fries in the shake, at first you're like, whoa, how is that going to fit? Jalen Milroe and Kalen DeBoer's offense. Whoa, does that actually go together? And then you try it. You see it for the first time, and you're like, wow. Once you experience it, You can't go back to anything else, okay? That's kind of what we saw and what we're seeing right now from Jalen Milroe in this offense. They are legitimately a juggernaut. And I don't think we're going to see a spot now for Texas or Alabama where they are ever out-schemed when it comes to the offensive side of the football. They will always have answers, always have a game plan that is going to, I think, give them a leg up in every single competition they play against. Now, I think this is the most important part when you talk about the win for Alabama. It's not just the fact that they won. It is the discussion around, like, the filters for Alabama going forward. Because I think the Texas win is going to age somewhat, not poorly, but not as well as this Alabama win's going to age. And I think we just confirmed a lot of things about who Alabama is. Like last night, to me, it was confirmed their engine is up there with anyone else in college football. Horsepower-wise, they're up there with anyone else. Like, they can score with anyone. Kalen DeBoer gave a Glenn Schumann, Kirby Smart defense 41 points. Went back and checked, hey, when was the last time someone gave Kirby's defense 41 points? Had to go back to 2021, SEC title game. Guess who it was against? Alabama and Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Bryce Young. So it takes something special to get that done against that defense. They got something special right now. I like them in man-to-man against anyone. I already said that, but I'll say it again. Ryan Williams, the best secondary in college football, I think you could argue, is Ohio State. I think you could make a very real case for Georgia being number 2 out there. Again, like the filters we're validating against. Is Alabama going to play anybody more talented or more difficult than Georgia this season? We'll see what Ohio State is. We'll see what Texas is. But again, on their regular season schedule to try and put together a filter for Alabama, Georgia's it, man. Georgia's it. And they have been, quite honestly, the gold standard in college football over the course of the last few years. That's not me saying they've won the national title every year, but like I don't think it's irresponsible to say Kirby Smart and what he's done in the modern era makes him the best coach in college football right now, especially with Nick Saban being retired. And again, Kalen DeBoer went out there, gave him 41 points. Now defensively, wreaked some havoc now. Had some things that you got to calibrate a little bit, allowing 400 pass yards to Carson Beck, but man, to force 4 turnovers against an offense that doesn't really turn it over like that, especially a quarterback who doesn't turn it over like that. I said it in our game reaction, man. Carson Beck had not had a multi-interception game his entire career. Hadn't had one. He had 3 INTs last night. Okay? This is a special outfit. This is a very, very special outfit. So, again, will Alabama be number 1 when the final rankings come out? We're going to see. Like the SEC, I said it again in our game reaction, it's like truth serum. That schedule's not going to tell you any lies. It's going to eventually tell you who you are. I wish we got Texas-Bama this year. Feels like we got that just a year too early last year because that game would be cinema. But Bama's got at Tennessee, Missouri, at LSU, at Oklahoma. But again, so far, it's very early, but on the filters that we have, from the resume to the way that Alabama looked, to who I think Georgia is, I think you have a very real case for Alabama to be the best team in college football. Now, if Quinn Ewers had been playing quarterback for Texas the entire time, maybe Texas is, I don't know. It's hard to say they look more definitive because they've looked very definitive to this point. But, like, right now, I would have a very difficult time picking anyone over Alabama going forward. And hand up, I had Georgia over Bama in this game. And seeing the game plan, seeing Milroe, seeing the defense, seeing Ryan Williams, all these things that we saw with our own eyes, man, against Georgia. Making Georgia look how Georgia doesn't typically look, out of sorts, overwhelmed, having to adjust at halftime. Now, Georgia did adjust, and Georgia did some Georgia things here in the second half, and we'll talk about that on this channel. So, again, another reason to be subscribed, but I think our eyes are telling us something, and we're going to trust them. I think Alabama right now is the best team in college football through 5 weeks of the season. Not a prediction, not a projection, but right now I think Alabama is the best team in college football. Curious to hear your thoughts, so make sure you're subscribed. Get in the comment section. Get at me on the socials, at JD Pickell, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well. Let me know what you think of Alabama and what they did last night in Tuscaloosa to Georgia. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.